5-Minute Habits for Healthy Living. This week's habit is called Respond from Your Values. Hello, this is Dr. Brian Morris, and welcome to 5-Minute Habits for Healthy Living, where you will learn the tools to practice a healthy lifestyle 5 minutes at a time. Life has become very complicated with a seemingly endless amount of health information at our fingertips on the internet. How do you know what to believe and what not to believe? In these podcast episodes, I will sort through the maze of health information and distill it into easy-to-digest, time-tested, evidence-based practical strategies for optimal health. I've been practicing internal medicine for 20 years. I went to medical school at Johns Hopkins. I trained at Yale, and I previously held a teaching position at Harvard Medical School. I currently practice medicine and hold a teaching appointment at UCLA Medical School here in Los Angeles, where I teach these tools and these strategies to medical students, house staff, doctors, and of course, to my patients. Before we get to this week's habit, I'd like to remind you that the information contained in this podcast and at 5minutemd.com is intended solely for educational purposes and should not be used to diagnose, treat, or prevent any health condition or illness. This information may not apply to a specific health situation and is not a substitute for medical care by a qualified, licensed, board-certified healthcare professional. Please consult with your healthcare provider before implementing any of the ideas in this podcast or making any changes in your healthcare regimen. This week's habit is about responding out of your values. It is about making sure that our actions, what we say, how we act, are consistent with our values and not with our emotions. This habit is super important, but unfortunately rarely discussed. How we interact with others has a direct impact on our health. Studies have shown that negative interactions with others can have a big impact on our risk of heart disease, cancer, autoimmune diseases, and many other medical problems. As one example, in 2009, researchers from Yale found out that acting out of anger increases our chances of life-threatening heart arrhythmias. We all get angry sometimes, but some of us are able to bite the bullet and let it go, while others express the anger, sometimes under the banner of honesty. We know now from many studies that letting difficult emotions dictate our feelings and our actions is very harmful to our health. But the truth is that most of us can't stop our internal engines from creating negative thoughts and feelings. We watch TV, we see a movie, we read an article, we interact with family members, and we all feel frustration, anger, disappointment, all sorts of other negative feelings. It is a major challenge to stop ourselves from feeling these harmful feelings. But it is less challenging to short-circuit these difficult feelings once we start to experience them. The key to successfully handling difficult feelings and protecting our health is to find practical ways to let these feelings go when we do experience them, rather than allowing them to be expressed through our actions. What I suggest that my patients do is that whenever they have a negative emotion such as sadness, anger, envy, etc., step back and observe the emotion. Don't say or do anything. Don't make a facial expression. Don't write an email. Don't call anyone. Don't do anything. It may be very difficult to bite your tongue, but don't do anything yet. Every feeling that we feel does not need to be expressed in the world. When we have a challenging feeling, think through how best to respond. How best to respond to the other person, but also how to respond internally to yourself. Sometimes we say nothing. Sometimes we'll change the topic. Sometimes we will address the topic currently on the table. Sometimes we will want to wait overnight and think about how best to respond. Sometimes our response will be a non-response. We'll do nothing. However, the key to how to healthfully handle difficult feelings is to respond in a way that is consistent with our values and not with our emotions. Some people find it easiest to simply restate what has just happened or to guess at what the other person might be feeling. For example, let's say that a person is standing behind you at an ATM machine at the grocery store and is getting angry about how long your transaction is taking. He says, "Hey buddy, you think you might be able to go any slower?" You start to feel uncomfortable inside. You even start to feel angry. The key is to stop. Recognize the feelings that you're starting to feel, but don't speak out of anger. Don't do anything yet. If you do, the situation is likely to escalate. You could say nothing. You could finish up the transaction and move on. If you decide to say something, you could say something like, "You must have something really important to get to. I'll get this transaction completed as quickly as I can. I am so sorry that I'm holding you up." Or you could say something as simple as, "Are you feeling frustrated and rushed because you're needing to get somewhere?" The key is not to act out of your emotions, but to try to connect with the other person on the level of your values. Values such as kindness, compassion, and understanding, rather than emotions such as anger and envy. Lastly, remember that your tone and your facial expressions are also very important, so make sure that what you say does not have a negative tone or intonation to it that might taint what you're saying. Remember that our actions in the world, both towards ourselves and towards others, should be based out of our positive core values. The next time someone says something rude to you or you sense a negative feeling inside of yourself, take a deep breath. Don't respond right away. In the movies, they call this a beat. Take a moment, take a breath, take a beat. Regroup and center yourself in your values and make sure that the way you act and the things that you say and the actions that you take represent these values and you in the best possible way. Doing so not only will improve your relationships, but will also improve your health. Let's keep the dialogue going. Let me know what you think of this week's Habit for Healthy Living. Post your comments and your experiences on the 5 Minute MD Facebook page. Follow us on Twitter at Brian Morris MD and visit us anytime on our website, 5minutemd.com. Let your friends and your family and your colleagues know about this podcast and make sure that you are subscribed on iTunes. When you subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, you will receive new podcast episodes as soon as they are posted. Also, in the next few months, we will be posting bonus podcast episodes at 5minutemd.com, including special podcast episodes not available on iTunes. And if you're finding the information on this podcast helpful, we would really appreciate it if you would take a moment and stop by iTunes and leave us a review. Thank you so much for listening, and remember to make today count. I will see you at the next 5.